Coming up, New Year, New You. We have you covered when it comes to making and sticking to those New Year resolutions. Plus, worldly traditions will introduce you to some fun ways people usher in the new year across the globe. Awesome teachers, we visit a classroom where puppies are helping students in some unique ways. Rescue mission, an otter finds a new home in our picture of the week. And pop quiz will test your knowledge on a fruit that you probably have sitting on your kitchen counter. All that and more coming up on this edition of Nightly Kids.
This is NBC Nightly News, Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Nightly News Kids Edition. I'm Lester Holt. We have a jam-packed lineup ahead, including our adorable picture of the week. Plus, New Year, New You. Our friend Dr. John Torres is here with tips and tricks on how to make and stick to your New Year resolutions. Your knowledge will be put to the test in this week's pop quiz. And we'll visit a school in Delaware where students and puppies are sharing a classroom together. They're learning valuable lessons about productivity and mental health. But first, let's see how the new year was ushered in across the globe. One of the great things about the holidays are the traditions that we share, both as a family and a community. These traditions bring joy and create memories. They also vary from country to country, and across the globe, there are some unique ways to welcome the new year. In Denmark, you literally leap into the new year. People stand on chairs or sofas, and when the clock strikes midnight, they jump. By doing so, good fortune will follow you in the year to come. In Spain, you eat 12 grapes at midnight, one for each month to bring good luck. And of course, here in the States, we watch the ball drop in Times Square. When the clock strikes midnight, 3,000 pounds of confetti falls on the crowd below. The new year is like a giant reset button on the calendar. It's a special time where we say goodbye to the old year and welcome the new one. It's also a time of reflection, a time to think about the things we want to change in the coming year. It's a great opportunity for everyone, kids and parents, to set some goals to achieve throughout the coming months. Here to give us some tips on how to set and achieve those goals for 2024, our friend Dr. John Torres. Dr. John, great to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Lester. How are you doing?
I'm well. So for kids who are thinking about formulating a resolution, a New Year resolution, what should they keep in mind?
Well, I think one thing to keep in mind is, remember, over the holidays, we ate a lot of sweets. We ate a lot of food that we typically don't eat, but it's the holidays, so we want to make sure we enjoy it. Well, one of your resolutions should be to let's go ahead and get back to eating those foods we know are healthy for us, that can help us grow into strong adults and keep us healthy throughout our lives. And that means eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, those things that your mom and dad tell you always want to eat. Grab bananas, grab oranges, grab those types of things. And yes, I'll admit, I had a lot of candy over the holidays as well. I have a sweet tooth, so I have to make sure I get rid of the candy, get it out of my house, and make sure that I just have the healthy things there, because when I go for a snack, and I love snacks, I'm gonna go for something healthy. So that's one of the first steps you can do, and realize that, with resolutions, you're probably gonna end up doing well for the first few weeks, and then kind of mid-February not doing so well. We all end up doing that at the same time. We're around mid-February, we forget the resolutions, so just keep those going.
And I'm with you. The idea of giving up sugar, I've done that for the last couple of days, but here's the rub. As you know, and you mentioned, as we get farther and farther away from New Year Day, we tend to lapse. What can we do to stick to those resolutions?
So one of the big things you can do to stick to those resolutions is just, work with everybody else in your family, work with your friends as well, and say, hey, we're going to stick with our resolutions, and realize that kind of mid-February, like I mentioned, that's when resolutions start failing a little bit. There's a joke that adults always have that you can't find a parking spot near a gym the first couple weeks of January, but go towards the end of February, the whole parking lot is empty because people have forgotten their resolutions. And realize that's going to happen. So just talk to your family and say, hey, mid-February, let's all look at our resolutions again and see how we're doing. Make sure that we end up doing those things we need to do to restart them again. And we might have to do that multiple times throughout the year, but just keep them going as much as we can and keep them going with everybody working together.
And Dr. John, besides staying healthy, what are some other resolutions that tend to be popular that we might want to think about doing?
So one of the other things you might want to look at, and I'm as guilty as anybody, is limiting your screen time. And that means, being on the phone, using a remote control on your TV. Limit the time you do that and get outside and play. Play those games you know you love to play. Grab a jump rope and get out there and start just jumping, learning how to do that. Grab a grab a glove and a baseball and start throwing with your buddies. And then try to learn something new. It's a good time of the year to say, hey, I'm going to try something new and see if I can do this by the end of the year, see if I'm much better at it. So here we go. I'm going to try juggling these healthy foods. Not bad. I got it a little bit. It'll be better as the months go on.
Not bad at all. Very impressive. Hey, Dr. John, some great advice as always. Great to see you, and again, Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year, Lester.
And speaking of resolutions, if eating healthy is one of yours, then this week's pop quiz question is for you. Why do bananas have a curved shape? A, they grow towards the sun. B, they grow towards the ground. C, they grow underground. I'll give you a few moments to think about it. Okay, time's up. The answer, A, they grow towards the sun. Bananas are a unique fruit. Instead of growing towards the ground, they grow upwards toward the sun. This way they can soak up all the rays they need. As the banana grows, gravity drags the fruit down towards the ground, giving the banana its familiar curved shape. Didn't know that. After all those holiday celebrations, it's time to head back to school, and at an elementary school in Delaware, some furry friends are waiting to welcome back students. Here to explain why is our friend Peter Alexander.
How you doing? That's the way it started morning, huh?
So it's not exactly your normal school greeting, but at Hanby Elementary in Wilmington, Delaware, it's just the way Brooke Hughes' first graders like it.
I love puppies.
Hughes has always been an animal lover, and after fostering several puppies during the pandemic, a light bulb went off.
What did the school say when you said, so I have an idea, I want to bring puppies to the classroom?
Right. There was a lot of questions, but they said after I kept telling all the research about how dogs and puppies, can increase, productivity and mental health, they said, all right, you get one day.
That one day turned into the rest of the school year and the beginning of Foster Tales Puppy Therapy, a program Hughes created that she says has changed how her students learn.
We've seen a benefit in their reading scores because if they have puppy time, if the puppies are asleep, they have to read to them. And so their reading confidence has soared. And the kids that were hesitant to pick up a book and read, they couldn't wait to read to a puppy.
These days, these first graders' classmates include a pair of 8-week-old Husky Pit Bull mixes, Kelsey and Graham, fittingly a tribute to their favorite Philadelphia Eagles players, not far away. Hughes brings Kelsey and Graham home every night, but during the days, they've taught these kids to do more than just cuddle and play.
The empathy with each other and the patience with each other, I've seen that being a huge growth since before we had puppies. Every morning they have to do a little check-in. How are you feeling today? This year, almost every day, they circle excited and I say, how are you feeling today? Like, I'm excited because I get to come to school with puppies and you.
As a teacher, you can't ask for a lot more.
I can't ask for it. I mean, I think my #1 job as a teacher in this grade is to make school fun, make learning fun. The rest will come.
And it's coming quick. Just look at the poster Sydney made.
Will you read it for me?
Okay.
Okay.
Adopt a dog because they are playful and they like treats and they like naps.
They do like naps.
20 puppies have now come through Hughes' classroom before finding their forever homes.
Lincoln, why do we want these puppies to be adopted?
So they can have a home.
We want them to find a home forever, right?
And this video she posted of her kids and the puppies bonding went viral with nearly 3 million views.
People lost their TikTok minds.
Yeah. And I had no idea it was going to blow up.
Why do you think it resonated?
I think seeing the joy that the kids had, and they fell in love with kids reading to them, of course.
That puppy love has helped all of her students, including Logan, who is mostly nonverbal and uses this device to communicate.
I like to read to Kelsey and Graham.
He just came out of his shell.
He came out of his shell, but he also taught us that he knows more than we knew. He was reading an above grade level book to the puppies.
Wow.
Good job. Good job. Woof.
It's not just the kids that benefit, but the puppies too.
If they weren't here, they would be in a cage most of the day at the shelter. And here they're being socialized. They're learning all kinds of different sights and sounds and smells.
Socialization for the puppies.
Oh, yeah.
Learning for the kids.
Yep.
I mean, who wouldn't want to learn like this?
It's hard not to love adorable puppies, right? Are you being adorable?
Are you being adorable, Graham? Oh, whoa, Bumble. Are you trying to, whoa, that was a French one.
All right, thanks, Peter. That seemed like a rough assignment. And now for our picture of the week, take a look at this cute sea otter pup who was found alone in Alaska. Here to tell us more about this little guy and his journey to safety at the Shedd Aquarium is our friend Laura Jarrett.
At the Shedd Aquarium in Chicago, there's a new pup in town. This sea otter pup was just 8 weeks old when he was found all alone in Alaska.
So this little guy, he was found out in Alaska, out by Seldovia, and he was seen by some people kind of swimming around by himself, where pups would normally have to be with their mothers for about 6 months.
Fish and Wildlife Services called Alaska Sea Life Center and the Shedd Aquarium for help. Under their care, this little pup is doing swimmingly.
He is doing very well. He's thriving, working on gaining weight all the time.
Did you know a group of sea otters is called a raft? Male sea otters hang out in different rafts among female otters who raise their pups, together in a group, often without help from the dads. Pups start out drinking milk from their moms, but once they get older, the world is their oyster when it comes to mealtime.
They eat all sorts of things from the kelp forest. So they love to eat mussels and clam and crabs, sea cucumbers, octopus, whatever they could find. They are especially keen on eating sea urchins, which is also really important.
That's right. Sea otters love to eat spiky sea urchins, which is great for the kelp forest ecosystem. That's because sea urchins eat a lot of kelp, which provides homes to thousands of animals in kelp forests. And when it comes to saving snacks, sea otters have a built-in storage system, somewhere you might not expect.
They have kind of like a built-in shopping bag in their armpits. They have a little extra flap of skin that could help them store food. So when they dive down, they can put as much food as they can into that pocket and then bring it up and then eat it at the surface. So it's pretty cool to see them kind of put as much stuff in there as possible.
These social creatures are vital parts of their ecosystems. Unfortunately, their populations are shrinking due to human actions like pollution and oil spills. However, there are things that you can do to protect this endangered species.
Sea otters and humans like a lot of the same kinds of seafood, so making sure that we're choosing sustainably caught, which means we're not taking that food away from the sea otters in their environment, is really important. And then being careful of pollution and oil use as well.
And if you happen to be near a shore and spot a sea otter, keep your distance and be sure to tell a parent or grown-up so they can make a call to Fish and Wildlife Services or local animal control. That way, sea otters in need of help, just like this little pup at the Shedd Aquarium, can continue to dive on.
Thanks so much, Laura. And now to our Inspiring Kids series. NBC News' Tom Yamas first introduced us to 12-year-old Ori on NBC Nightly News. Ori lost his brother and father in Israel during an attack on their country. After hearing Ori's story, a 12-year-old in California decided to raise over $3,000 to help kids in an Israeli town celebrate Hanukkah. And kids, we're going to talk about war and loss in this segment, so you may want to grab a parent or grown-up to watch with you in case you have any questions.
What was your name again?
Ori, what's your name?
Tom. Last year we met Ori in the town of Ofakim. This 12-year-old lives near the Gaza border, where for the last few months there's been a war. Terrorists from a group called Hamas entered his community, killing his father, Ohayon, and his brother Eliad, and dozens of others.
I'm collecting roots. I want to keep them for feelings. It's make me feel better.
But the story didn't just resonate with us. Ori's story also getting the attention of another 12-year-old boy in California, Shaitan Tecumseh. says he saw the story on TV and couldn't stop thinking about Ori.
The reason why I decided to help Ori was because he was 12 years old and I'm 12 too. And it also touched me the fact that he would go and collect the bullets to remember his dad.
At first, Shaitan was just going to donate his allowance to Ori to help with the cost of his bar mitzvah, but then realized there were other kids who also lost parents. So he started raising money. In total, more than $3,200.
And this is what that generous act turned into. We were there as these children of war found a reason to laugh, sing, and dance, celebrating inside of a bomb shelter. The money allowing Ori to buy toys, food, and throw a Hanukkah party.
I want to make these kids to be happy and have fun for a little bit of time and make the pain be off.
For us, that's, as a community, this has always been a very strong sense of togetherness and helping each other at time of need and being there one for another, and especially now.
It's very uplifting. It's extremely uplifting to know that we're not alone, that there's still people who care to bring light to the world.
The entire town touched, watching as their children found some light after so many dark days.
For them to know that kids around the world are telling their story. First of all, aware of the story, and then also willing to tell the story, and willing to simply be there. Simply spread kindness, brings a message that evil doesn't rule us. A young boy from across the world who didn't know us at all is coming and lighting a candle.
The two boys exchanging these messages.
Maybe in the future we could meet and play some basketball. I also want to wish all the other kids a happy Hanukkah.
I want to say thank you for Shaitan and this community for doing this party for all of the people that lost someone on this horrible day. Thank you very much.
In a town that lost so much, on this day, their community growing, finding comfort in new friends thousands of miles away.
All right, Tom, thanks very much for bringing us that story. Well, that's going to do it for us. Parents, just a reminder, if your child has a question about any topic in the news, email a video to us at nightlynewskids@nbcuni.com. You can also follow us on Instagram @nightlykids. And remember, you can catch a new episode of Nightly News Kids Edition this Saturday on NBC. Check your local listings for the time in your area. Thanks for watching, and remember, take care of yourself and each other. So long.